Farmers say we love the alcohol, la 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all, la 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 la. But my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every mother must agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Hey, everybody, welcome once again to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Russ.
I'm Chris, and what the hell voice was that?
That was my Macho Man Randy Savage voice for it's my wrestling voice.
Sorry, I interrupted your intro.
It's all right. Welcome once again, everybody, to another wonderful installment of Nerds with Alcohol. We are back in the virtual nerd basement. And it is episode 245. We are only 5 episodes from the big 250.
It's going to hit right about our 5-year anniversary.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty crazy. That boggles my mind a little bit. If you are joining us, well, from the top, thank you, CD.
Yeah, and hey, CD.
Somebody gets me. If you are joining us for the first time, now that we are affiliates on Twitch, it's pretty great. You guys, we do have a subscribe button if you'd like to subscribe. I'm gonna be honest with you right now, all that really offers is no commercials. So yeah. But Chris and I are working diligently on putting together some additional content, more content,
yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah, we're on the in with Twitch. Yeah, that's what it means. No, Twitch still doesn't know who the hell we are.
No, we don't know who the fuck we are. We got to get a few.
And I want to keep it that way, honestly. I don't want them knowing who we are.
We got to get a few more followers before that happens. We are at
unless we wind up with an animated special sometime. I don't want to. Yeah, exactly. I don't want Amazon knowing who I am.
It does say we have 50 followers. Chris, I thought you said we had 51.
We got another follower, so I'm not sure. The way that they track the followers can be kind of wonky. So.
So, we still could use some more. So anybody?
Yeah, we're always looking for more followers. We got one subscriber too.
Yeah, we have one subscriber. So please tell all your friends about us and have them come on in. We love to have the interaction on the page. We can at least interact on this one. We can't really do that a whole lot on our D&D show every other Friday night, Tavern Nights here on Drinking Nerds. But it has been pretty cool to get to that affiliate status now, finally, after almost 8 months of give or take of doing this.
No, dude, Twitch. It's been a year and a half.
It's been a year and a half. Oh, I don't know.
Hey, thanks, CD. CD just subscribed.
Hey, CD, great. Thanks, man.
Thank you so much, man.
Thanks a lot. We are going to see about. Chris, I think one of the things that we need to institute soon is as we get some new subscribers, we can possibly have them as a guest on the show.
Yeah, that I've thought about doing giveaways, things like that, like giving away a player's handbook with our very valuable autographs in it or something like that.
Very valuable autographs. What have last week just didn't have payment around. Hey, I appreciate that.
You know what? You don't have to explain it to us, CD. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, exactly. You've been a big supporter, probably the biggest supporter we've had. Right up there with Dave Kish and some of the other guys.
Dave fell off the map. He doesn't count anymore.
He did kind of fall off the map. I think he still listens, but
yeah, he actually promoted us a lot when we were first starting out and helped us out a lot.
He did a lot.
And he's still one of the most entertaining guests I think we've had on our show.
Absolutely. I was talking about our just the other day, and in fact it came up in my Facebook memories again. I think it was on the 22nd when we did our show at Bottoms Up. And that was the best time.
That is still to this day, I think, maybe my favorite show that we've done.
Was that 18?
Yeah, that would have been 18.
It
would have been 3 years ago. Yeah,
3 years ago. Yeah, it was pretty great. I mean, it was really, really awesome. We had Pictus joined us. We had the Rogue Blades, of course. Everybody was getting good and sauced.
Oh yeah, you had your giant glass of water.
A giant glass of water. Yeah. Bud and Chris Urban and a couple of my friends they all put their money together. For those of you guys who weren't there, they put their money together, and it must have been $30 worth of fucking vodka at a bar. And they had the waitress just fill a bottle of rocks, like a big fucking tumbler.
A water glass, like one of those plastic water glasses or pop glasses.
Big, huge one, that's like 18 ounces or 24 ounces of liquid, and probably about 24 ounces of liquid. And it was just ice and vodka. And she handed it to me, and it was frosted over. Like, it was really the whole thing was frosted over because it was alcohol that was iced, and it was getting even, it was getting even colder. And we're like, wow, I didn't ask for water.
You weren't feeling well, and you had asked for water. I wasn't feeling well,
right? So I wasn't drinking, because I was all day, and I was fighting. I just was getting over the end of a cold, and so I was like, I didn't want to overdo it, and so I'm like, oh, okay, well, thanks for the water, guys. And I took a big fucking swig, and I'm just like, whoa! And
you actually hit it off the straw, didn't you? Or did you just drink it? Did you hit it out of the straw?
No, I handed it off. Oh no, I just drank it in the straw. Yeah, it was like just, and it just like it hit. I'm like, I mean, I was just not expecting it, and it was so funny because I saw Bud and Chris in the back of the audience losing their fucking minds, and like Bud just went like this. He was so goddamn funny. He's like, ha!
Yeah.
And just losing their fucking minds.
Hey, Ghost Hand, good to see you back, man.
Hey, Ghost Hand.
And hi, Mama Jen.
Mama Jen. Look at this. We got a bunch of people tonight. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Good to see you guys. Hey, Mama Jen. Thank you. Thanks for joining us, Jen. It's great to see you. Again, we hit affiliate status, so we are official now, apparently. So. But yeah, that was great. We also had.
I wish that we had video for that show.
Oh man,
because
so good.
The audio is funny, and it's a good time. But the visuals that went along with a lot of that stuff, like what's his name? Is it
Jamie?
Jamie coming up and putting a tip in your hat, and then we make a crack, and he comes back and takes it out.
We had Dale Walter sat in, and he was an old buddy of mine. He was an old jouster from the festival, and then Maria Christian, the entertainment director of the festival, she sat in, and she was a lot of fun. Even though I'm not.
Well, we won't talk about that right now. We're not going to talk about her right now.
But it was still such a great show. It's a great time. My friend Kevin Kevin Omans came in from. He drove over, and he's been watching the show, and he actually Twitch streams a lot at the same time we do, or like right after we do, right around when we get done. So he can't often sit in. Yeah, Chris looks really familiar too. Well, Jen, you will remember Chris from Festival. Probably.
Yeah, Festival. I mean, I was around Festival for 20 years. 20 plus years. I wasn't working there, but I was there all the time. Yeah. I've been involved in the sci-fi community, the steampunk community, things like that. So, and
his wife Renee was also very much involved with Festival as well. Yeah. She was Boca's CD girl for a while. She's been around.
She was their beer wench.
Beer wench, yes. She was Boca's beer wench. So she knows Kevin. Renee knows Kevin, I'm pretty sure, and so that's good. And I'm good. I'm good, Jen. It's working hard a lot at the day job, and I have been hitting up Festival. I'm actually really looking forward to this weekend where. Jen is a Twitch streamer as well. She and her husband Kevin have been doing a lot of Twitch streaming. And Kevin, who is also in the murder mystery show that I'm in, and he is a former member of Boca Musica, and they're having a big reunion show this weekend at the festival. It was actually the only weekend that they decided they were able to come back, and but they're doing a big reunion show. So they got several of their former bandmates back, and it looks like it's going to be a great time. So I got to make sure.
We're actually going over to Hugh and Deanna's house for dinner in a couple weeks.
Oh, great! Yeah, cool.
Made a dinner date with them.
Yeah, Deanna basically put it all together and contacted Kevin and Randy and a couple other people. Yep. I can't remember all of them, but
well, Randy's down in Florida now, isn't he? I think he's done it. I think he lives in Florida now. So
no idea. I just know he's going to be back for this show. So I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the final. This is the final weekend of the Renaissance Festival coming up. I'm going to be there on Saturday, kind of saying my goodbyes and stuff. It's been a really weird year for me this year because I have not worked at the fair this year. And for those of you guys who haven't been paying attention, but I have gone up. This would be the third time. I think I've gone up, and third or fourth. This may be fourth. I can't remember.
I think it's your fourth.
I think it's fourth time. Yeah, fourth time. And and I always said that if I wasn't working there, I wouldn't be there every day. Once a weekend, maybe like one day a weekend, I'd go.
I was there. There was a while. I mean, like I said, I never worked there, but I was there like when they first did the season passes.
Mm-hmm.
I was going up there every day. I mean, even if I got up there late because I had something else going on, I would wind up going up there because.
Yeah, well, if you already paid for it, I mean, it was the season pass when it first started was like $50.
Yeah, it was worth it. It was a great deal.
Hell of a good deal because if you went up every day, I think at the time the admission was right around $20. If you were up there every day, $20, 16 times, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's $320, man. That's crazy. If you have a season pass for $50, crazy good deal. And they did a whole lot they sold tons of those, and they still do. The season pass holders are a pretty extensive group. I mean, even if you go half the amount of times, you're still making out really well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's so I've been working really hard, and hey Kevin. See, I'm gonna have Kevin on, Jen. It'd be cool to have the both of you guys on the show real soon. We want to have you guys on to do as guests. We'd love to hear about your experience Twitch streaming and being podcasters and chiming in on our nerd talk, because that's what we do here at Nerds with Alcohol. It's all about the nerd talk. So we should move on. Chris, what are you, or how was your week and what are you drinking?
Well, my week wasn't bad. I mean, it's mostly been work, of course. I mean, I've been busy. But other than that, it's we had our game on Friday night, so we did the Tavern Nights game, and that was outstanding. I had a blast doing it, and I was really happy that we got to end it where we did. That was a perfect ending spot, I think, for what I've got planned. So I'm really happy about that. And then overall, you guys got a lot done in that game. You guys made it through more than one day for the first time since you've been to Greyhawk in a session.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we went all over that goddamn city.
Yeah, you did. And then we ended it with someone from your past. Who it is? Interesting. Who is it? We'll find out in 2 weeks. Well, in a week and a half.
Jen's leaving to go and bedtime with the baby. So we'll be thanks for stopping by, Jen. And,
she's still gonna be on. She's just not gonna be chatting.
She's gonna be lurking. Okay, cool. What is it gonna be?
So how about you? How was your week? We'll get to what I'm drinking in a minute.
It was, like I said, a lot of work. I did go up to the festival on Saturday, and it was a lovely day. It rained in the morning a little bit. And it's funny, like I pulled in and I got there about 9:15, and I got a pretty good parking spot, but it had been raining all week. So here's my phone there. It had been raining all week, so the grounds were all wrenched and soaked. And but the parking lot was a swamp again. It kind of returned to its swampy roots. But I got there and I went, it's still raining. It's supposed to let up in about an hour or so. Fuck it, I'm going to take a nap. So exactly. Only my mom calls me Mary. So, but I was like, fuck it, I'm going to take a nap. So I basically just chilled out. I kind of took a nap, and I woke up. I didn't really take a full nap. I just kind of dozed a little bit, and then I got up at about 11 o'clock, and the rain was moving off. It was pretty much all done, and it got sunny and it got nice, and the temperature was nice. It was fucking muddy. And if anybody's been to the Michigan Renaissance Festival knows that place is a fucking mud pit when it gets rainy. So there was a huge puddle in front of the Guinness pub that the mermaids then swam in later on.
Dude, they were saying the golf course where I do my league, we were supposed to golf our last day on Thursday, but they said that the course just wasn't in any shape because they had gotten 4 inches of water.
Oh man.
And they're up in northern Oakland County, just like the fair is. So I can only imagine that. I know what the fair is like, right in that little like area where the storms come through, and they come through hard when they come through. I mean, I remember several times leaving fair and hitting a storm that I had to pull over and stop on the side of the road because I couldn't see.
Exactly. There are some storms roll through there pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually just looked at the weather report, and unfortunately the weather report has changed. It's looking like 50% chance of rain on Saturday.
Yeah, we're supposed to go to the DCFC game Saturday night, and there's that chance of rain. So we'll see if we actually go. If it rains, that's not a great place to be because it's all outside.
Yeah. And it does look like, I mean, the temperature is still at like 75 for the day, though. So at least it won't necessarily be cold that day. So might be rainy, but at least it won't get cold. So
Renee said the heels of to her old pair of boots is still stuck in the mud.
Yeah, that would not.
Suctioned right off the boot.
Yeah. Ghost hand, post-rain, sunny weather is top-notch, even with a puddle setback. Yep, absolutely. You needed stilts. Renee is very short too, so that stilts would have been very funny.
She's not that short. She's short, but she's not really short.
Okay, there, 6'6" guy. Anyway, the mud can get really, really crazy there, and but it's kind of part of the fun sometimes too. So yeah, the mermaids were swimming in the mud puddle, and they made a big to-do online. It was actually really funny. And at one point, one of the washing wenches, they did this whole bit where the washing wenches falling in love with the merman. And Erebus the merman, he sat in on the washing wenches in their little wash pit.
Mm-hmm.
And during one of their shows, and then afterwards, Molly, one of the wenches, she like jumped into the mermaid tank. It was super funny. There's a lot of shit on. If you guys want to check out some of the videos, that they're on Siren Tales on Facebook and Instagram. If you want to check them out, Linda put up the videos. It was so goddamn hilarious. And
the CD said that I am the stilts.
You are he is the stilts. He is. I'm average, bottom of average, but average. Okay, Renee. All right. So yeah, what are you drinking anyway?
I actually just found this today. This is not what I had originally planned on drinking tonight, but Founders sucks me in so there's a couple of, like, New Holland sucks me in with all of their special Dragon's Milk varieties that they do, and Founders does a barrel age series that they put out one like every quarter, just like the Dragon's Milk comes out. But this one, and whenever I see them, I wind up buying them because I love barrel-aged beers. And this one is called Velvet Rush. It is an imperial brown ale brewed with coffee, chocolate, vanilla extract, and milk sugar, aged in bourbon barrels. And I mean, it's not anything really fancy. It's just got, that's what it is. It is 11.1% ABV.
Ooh, wow.
It says
that'll hit you in the head.
Yeah, borrowing elements from both high-end craft cocktails and moody jazz clubs, Velvet Rush takes the bourbon barrel-aged brown ale up an octave with free-flowing notes of coffee, chocolate, and vanilla extract. Milk sugar aids in weaving together this complex tapestry of flavors to create a unique sipping experience that really ties the room together. And let's see, when was this bottled? This was bottled at the end of July. But it is a dark brown color. There is some light that gets through that, but not a lot. You probably can't see it in the. Oh yeah, I guess you can a little bit. No, you really can't. But a little
dark, bit. It's a dark beer, that's for sure.
But there light does get through it. You can actually see some light. But the aroma is almost all coffee. That's what I get. I get coffee. I don't even get any of the barrel in the aroma. I'm gonna take another sip here because I've kind of been sipping it, but I haven't been actually really tasting it. So, okay. So there is a lot of coffee. Coffee is an overpowering flavor. and that can be a problem. But it's not bad. There's a good amount of coffee. There's some vanilla on the back end. There is a little bit of chocolate that mixes with the coffee, and then there's that little bit of alcohol on the breathe out. That's where I get the barrel stuff, but I'm not getting a lot of the oak flavor that you get in a lot of the barrel aged beers. Overall, though, it's good. It's very tasty. It's actually, I think, pretty well balanced, and it's a little rich. It's not like oh, what was the one that they had? It was a chocolate raspberry one. That one's so rich. It's like a big piece of cake in liquid form. This one isn't quite like that. This one would be nice to sit around and just sip after dinner while you're relaxing before you go to bed, type of thing, and just kind of relaxing in the evening. This would probably be really good with a cigar, honestly. Wow. Okay.
Sorry about that.
And but yeah, it's a brown ale, so it's also a little bit. It's kind of like a medium body. It's not overly heavy either. So I'm gonna probably give this 3.75 bottle caps.
3.75 out of 4.
Out of 5.
Out of 5. Okay.
Yeah.
I always forget.
It might even be 4. I mean, it's really good. Okay. If you like barrel aged beers, you like the higher ABV beers, the stronger beers.
Particularly if you like coffee flavor, maybe.
And if you like the coffee flavored stouts and things like that, this would actually be pretty good. Because I mean, like I said, it does have a lot of that coffee flavor, but it's actually kind of balanced really well with the other stuff.
Alrighty.
I like this one.
Very cool.
Yeah, again, Velvet Rush by Founders.
Velvet Rush by Founders. Well, today I'm not really drinking a whole lot today, but this is a new drink that we were introduced to by some friends. My friend Thaddeus, I think, brought it by, and Linda and the ladies have been drinking the hell out of this. We have Captain Morgan's sliced apple rum.
I saw that at the store.
This is the shit right here. It's pretty fantastic. You know me, anybody knows me knows that I'm a big fan of apple cider and apple things. I mean, I drink apple cider on our show all the time, but I love like cider mill apple cider too. It's one of my favorite things in the world. And you take some fresh cider mill cider and you pour a hefty dose of this into it, a hefty portion, and you've got yourself a treat. Let me tell you, this stuff is fantastic.
You can just do that with regular rum too.
You can, and that actually is pretty good too. But this really brings out the apple flavor very well, and it's a pretty solid. I mean, it's a rum, so it's a pretty solid ABV, and it's 35% alcohol by volume.
Yeah, so 70 proof.
70 proof. So we are looking at a mixed drink here. This is not a beer or a cider or whatever else.
You can still sip it.
You can, absolutely. I'm not going to toss it back. But the
Bumbu rum is a sipping rum. I sit and
but if you like, this much cider and that much rum, you got a nice drink here. It can sneak up on you. The thing about it is it sneaks up on you.
Dude, try mixing Captain Morgan's with Mike's Hard Lemonade.
No, thank you.
That's how I started dating Kelly. Michael had that in a big party ball.
Sure.
Just a mix of Captain Morgan's and Mike's Hard Lemonade with ice and
classy.
And we were just like pumping it and drinking it all night long, and yeah.
So Captain Morgan's sliced apple, fantastic rum. Cut by the captain, distilled for the crew. And so like I said, you got to be careful with that particular mixed drink. Like I said, the cider with this sliced apple here, I'm gonna leave that one alone. Okay, Captain's good.
No, that was the remark towards what I said. So
I see.
Yeah.
Anyway, it will sneak up on you though, because the apple just kind of blends right, the rum and everything blends right into the cider flavor. So you might forget like stuff.
Have you tried the Crown Royal apple?
I have as well. I believe that might even be a little bit higher alcohol content. So
yeah. I've actually got the Crown Royal Peach.
I don't know. I'm not a big fan of peach. So
you know what? I'm not either. And this
good.
one's a little too sweet for me to drink all the time. But every once in a while, if you want something sweet, that's not bad to sip on.
Oh, I did get something new this week too.
Yeah.
This brand new chair.
Oh.
That's right, everybody. This lovely chair brought to you by, I don't know, some brand. It's red and black and lovely. Now, this was actually a gift from Chris and Renee. They upgraded their computer chairs, so they gave me their old one. And as being a starving artist, or relatively starving artist, I will take free shit every day of the week and twice on Sunday. And so it's pretty great. It's actually quite comfortable. It's much more comfortable than my previous chair. Like I used to sit here. I will sit at my computer for many hours playing video games, and there were times when like my shoulders will start to hurt. I get pains up my neck and stuff. And I don't think I've experienced that yet.
Oh, cool! I'm glad.
While sitting here in this lovely chair since Friday. It's great.
Yeah, I love my new chair. I mean, they're not sponsors, but I do enjoy the chair that I have. So.
A good deal, CD. A good deal of my furniture is hand-me-downs. Like when I first moved into my house, my parents basically just gave me furniture for my living room.
Mine was for a long time, and then I had to get a bunch of stuff. We don't own a ton of furniture. Some of the stuff we have was stuff that got left at houses that I moved into. Like when I bought my house, my first house when I moved back here to Michigan, there's a bunch of stuff that got left there. I've still got a bunch of it.
Yeah, I'd say the majority of my furniture is hand-me-down, and it does. Yeah, CD. I think it does support a little bit better. It's supposed to be different. Hey, we're up to 7 viewers tonight. I don't know who you are, but if you, but thanks for joining us. Chime in on the chat if you'd like. We'd love to hear from you. Every time a parental unit buys new something, you get first dibs. Absolutely.
As the oldest, that's one of the things I usually get is the.
Yeah, me too. And I've got, and my sister Tiffany does fine. She's got it. She just got married. She's got plenty of shit. And my sister Megan also got plenty of shit. So, but my first living room furniture was the couch and love seat that my parents gave me that were denim, my jouches as my.
Oh, I remember those.
Yeah, remember the jouches?
The jouches, yeah.
Yeah, denim furniture. Boy, there's nothing says white trash more. Well, no, that's not entirely true. Few things say white trash more
than denim furniture.
I loved it too because I live in my jeans. I love denim. It lasts forever. And I'll find eventually, my friends just kept making fun of me. And they were comfortable, but at the same time, they're that kind of couch that you constantly if you sat on it every hour and a half or so, you'd have to get up and readjust the cushions because they just started kind of.
They were big and poofy, if I remember, but then you would sink into them and they would flatten.
Yeah, and then they were comfortable to sleep on. I dozed on them all the time, but I live in my jeans. I love denim. So
where'd Russ go? Where's Russ? I thought he was on the couch. Did he? When
Sean Nicolin, for a frequent guest on the show, Sean Nicolin, a good friend of mine, he gave me. He was moved to New Jersey.
Well, yeah.
Gave me the sectional I have now, so that we got rid of the.
I was gonna say Sean's always on the show because we don't do any episodes when he's not, right?
Right, exactly.
at least that's what he says when he gets on the show.
No episodes besides him, because he was on our third episode, and then he went our second or third episode or something like that, and then he was on again 200 episodes.
Yeah, like a month or so ago, 2 months ago.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So that's fun. I don't even remember where we were at in the show.
We just finished doing what we
talking about our
boots.
Drinking. Talking about our boots. All right, let's move on. We've got some things to talk about.
Yes.
What do you want to start with?
Well, I just put up a trailer today that I saw actually yesterday. I put it up on our Facebook page today. It's for the new Netflix series Sandman, which I don't think we actually have a release date for that yet. This is actually just a teaser trailer. It's only about a minute long. But holy shit, does it look fucking cool.
Man, it does look really fucking cool. Yeah, it was only a teaser. It was only about a minute, and it didn't give us a lot. but it did show the guy playing Dream, and it did show like the mask and everything, and he looks great.
And it showed the guy that played Tywin Lannister in Game of Thrones is the one that like summons him. Yep.
It looks pretty cool, and I'm very excited for it.
Well,
I think this is a great time.
Yeah, I showed Renee the trailer earlier, and she made the comment that guy, I don't know his name off the top of my head, but the guy that played Tywin, is like the new Christopher Lee. He's playing like all of those types of roles now.
Very much so. That's actually a really great description of him, the new Christopher Lee, because he's got a very similar kind of penetrating stare and hawkish features. I've actually always liked that guy. He was Brother
Numsy.
Yes, he was Sado Numspa.
My brother has forgiven me,
dear Brother Numsy. In The Golden Child, Eddie Murphy, one of Eddie Murphy's early films. That was goddamn. It's funny, my buddy Chuck and I, when I was living with Chuck Ferment, it was kind of our thing. We would yell that at each other. My dear sweet brother Numsy, because we ended up, I think we watched that movie like half a dozen times together, just I don't know why. And yell it at each other from across like the field at Ren Fair and wherever we'd run into each other at a convention, a sci-fi convention.
Yes, and, CD, that's bad CGI by today's standards. For the 80s, that was not bad.
No, not at all, man. It was great. That movie a bad.
I think that was like 88.
Something like that. Yeah, give or take.
Let's see. When did the Golden Child?
Goddamn time, man.
I made Renee watch that, and she at first she was like, "Yeah, I don't know," and then she watched it. She thought it was very funny.
Yeah. I want the knife.
Please. You just
only a man whose heart is pure can get the knife, and only a man whose ass is narrow can get down these steps.
And if mine is such an ass, then I shall have it.
Yeah, you got to know that Eddie did a lot of improvisation.
Well, he did a lot of rewrites, from what I heard.
Oh yeah.
They presented it to him, and it was a much more serious script, and it was like a serious like action type film. And he went, "I will do this, but you got to let me rewrite it." And he put in all the jokes and stuff like that. And I mean that movie is just it's one of those movies that I just think it has so many like little quotable lines, like the whole thing with you just gonna wipe that booger right there on you.
Right there.
Be careful. That's gonna you get that off there before it freezing gonna hurt somebody. Or like when he grabs the guy and he just disappears and he's like, "I'm gonna find you."
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave you bleeding and naked in Tibet.
In Tibet. Yeah. Really, really great fucking lines, man. It's really, really fantastic.
It was 86 that it came out.
86. Okay. Yeah, that was the beginning of Eddie's career too. He was right off of the success of Beverly Hills Cop. So
yeah,
he really did.
I think it was right around the same time as Raw too. I think Raw was right after that.
Super fucking hot right there. It was super fucking hot.
Eddie Murphy Raw came out in 87. So
okay. So we so anyway, where were we? Oh yeah. Sandman. I think I mean the audio production that they've been doing has been doing extremely well. So I think this is going to kick it off incredibly in high gear, because I mean the Sandman and anything by Neil Gaiman has a very dedicated fan base, like extremely. So people are going to be just all about it. Like I said, the audiobook has been killing it on Audible. People are loving it. It's getting incredible reviews. And it's not just that
I still want to get the bound copy.
Yeah, it's not just that it's an audiobook. It's a full like radio play. It's a full audio like production. And people are really loving it. So this is going to be even better. So really, really excited. I think people are it's gonna kill. It's fucking gonna kill. So did it say when we have a date?
No, let me look and see, because I don't think there is. Sandman release. Actually, Netflix release date. Does it say? No. There's no release date yet. I think it's supposed to be sometime next year.
Okay.
Yeah, this is release date predictions. This is from 3 days ago. I mean, they just finished up Lucifer too.
Yeah.
Another Gaiman thing that actually came from Sandman.
Lucifer I believe they just finished it. That was like the end of the second half of season 6 was like the end of the show.
Yeah, it is. It's the end of the show. Yep.
I'm definitely gonna get into that show. The couple episodes I have watched were just absolutely fantastic. So
yeah, this says late 2021 or 2022 would be a good estimation of the earliest chances it can premiere. So they haven't really said when it's going to be out.
Ugh. Well, I guess we're gonna have to just sit and wait then.
Yep.
That's okay. It's not like there's not a million other things to watch.
Yeah, actually, Rookie just came back too.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna probably after we get done, I'm probably gonna watch it because I love The Rookie. It's one of my favorite shows. So yeah, pretty much everything's coming back now. So we're gonna be getting into things that are coming back.
Which that's one of the things I want to talk about later is some of the shows that are coming up and stuff. But
we got a couple more weeks of What If, and then right around the corner, about a month after that, we've got Hawkeye. So and to continue on the Marvel deliciousness that we're experiencing right now. So shall we move on?
So along with that, there's also, and I haven't watched this one yet, but there's actually a Road to the Witcher season 2 trailer that's out there too.
Yes, I saw the trailer for the new.
Yeah, I haven't watched that one yet, so I mean, you can talk about it if you want, but
the new trailer.
Yeah, the new trailer.
Okay, yeah, I did see it. It's it actually has it's more like the first scene of the first episode.
Oh, is that what it is?
The Witcher is sitting there with obviously a monster or some sort of creature, and they're talking, they're drinking and throwing knives at a target. It looks like a painting actually, and they're just chatting. And apparently, who it is? It's the redhead. It's Giantsbane from Game of Thrones.
Oh,
in a lot of makeup. And he's, and he's wearing like.
Oh, I've seen the pictures of him.
Yeah, he's got like a pig snout and big tusks. And I guess apparently it's what's his name from? I can't remember his name, but yeah, it's the redheaded guy, Giantsbane, that fell in love with Brianna Tarth.
Yeah,
Brianna. Yeah, was that? No,
Brianna of Tarth. Yeah.
Yeah, and like it was like, we will make giant babies, or whatever it was. And so he did that. He did that scene or that character, and it looks really great. I mean, and they basically talk about he brings the princess to Vesemir, to his mentor, and to where the witchers are trained, which happens in the books and stuff. So
and in the game. So I'm loving that it's following it along. I'm desperate to find time to read the books. I've heard really good things about the books. Stella bought me the first one in the series, so I really want to get into that eventually. Yeah, I want to read those too.
What else?
But yeah, I agree, CD. I'm actually kind of looking forward to the little bit of a break between like when What If ends and when Hawkeye starts. To actually hopefully catch up on everything else that's out there, like
at least a little bit.
Yeah, like Alexandra should be coming over tomorrow to watch some more of Titans, and then so we're still trying to catch up on that. Renee and I still need to catch up on Doom Patrol now that season 3 is out.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, all this stuff. One of the shows I am caught up on that I saw the trailer for today. It's going to be season 4 of Cobra Kai.
Oh, I've watched all of season 1. I think part of season 2, so I definitely need to get
that show is way better than I thought it was going to be. I think it's way better than it has any right to be.
Yeah,
I mean, considering what it is. And
absolutely.
I mean, now they're bringing it in, and there's a whole new dynamic now, and it looks like they're still adding a lot of like humor into it, but they're tackling some serious shit. I mean, some serious shit goes down at the end of season 2.
That's what I've heard. Some really like people get hurt and
Oh yeah,
really crazy stuff.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot of like vicious fights between people.
Yeah.
Throughout season 2, season 3, and it's kind of nasty, but it's also it's just overall, I think, a really good show. I really enjoy it.
And I think just the statement, it's way better than it has any right to be, is actually very accurate. It's just a fantastic show, and
I think it's well written.
Yeah, and it's getting better. I mean,
Yep.
surprising. I mean, and it's a show based on the fucking Karate Kid movies. I mean, holy shit! Not even all of. Well, I guess they do start bringing in characters from
season 3, Karate
movies.
Kid 2. Karate Kid 2. He goes back to Japan actually, and he runs into the people that, as adults, that he met there, like the girl and the guy that he almost killed. And
right, yeah, and then I guess they bring back one of the guys from the villain character, essentially from the third movie too, and eventually, and I'm just like, it's awesome, man. I think it might be in the new season coming up.
Well, yeah, because I know, the original guy from Cobra Kai is back, and it looks like he's bringing somebody in now, and that might be whoever it is from the third one.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but I don't think I ever actually saw the third Karate Kid movie.
I did. It was okay. It was largely considered like probably the worst of the three.
Well, I mean, they even got Elizabeth Shue to come back, and for a couple of episodes and things like that. So I mean, it really is a good show.
Absolutely, it is. It's and like I said, it just keeps getting better. I'm like extremely impressed with it. The writers are they're just killing it. And guys, if you're not catching Cobra Kai, you really should.
Yeah, it started off as a YouTube show.
Yeah,
it was a YouTube original.
It was on YouTube TV. Yep. Or it was YouTube. When YouTube tried to do the whole streaming thing, and they jumped over to YouTube. YouTube like just chomped it up. In fact, if I remember,
Netflix. It moved to Netflix.
Or that's what I meant. Yes, that's what I said. It moved over to Netflix, and Netflix chomped it up, and it was the thing that was really selling the YouTube streaming service was Cobra Kai. They're like, "Ooh, look, we have Cobra Kai, and it's an exclusive," and people were like, "Oh, okay, maybe I should check this out." But it wasn't enough. I think we've hit mass saturation on the streaming services. I just trying to squeeze too many more in here. I just don't know if it's gonna.
Yeah, Netflix has your nostalgia. You're right, CD. Speaking of which, they're really pushing the new Cowboy Bebop live action. They've actually put out the opening credits scene now.
Yes,
which I haven't watched, but I've also seen things where people are pointing out like little snippets from scenes that they're showing in like previews and things like that, and they're little things that are from the show, like the 3 older guys that are sitting around drinking at an outdoor cafe that you see all the time. They actually have them in in the background of one of the scenes.
Okay.
So it's just little things like that they're saying that this is going to be just like the animation, which I've started watching, and I gotta say I'm having trouble getting into it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, the animated one. But yeah, I mean, I've heard it's great. Everyone loves it, but I'm like, I've watched like the first 3 episodes, and I'm like, meh, so far. I'm like, I don't think it's all that great.
What is it again?
Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, I've actually, I mean,
it's on Hulu.
Yeah, it's an old school, one of the oldest school animes, and I'm just not a huge anime guy. So if I were to get into one, it would probably be some of the older ones, but I just like, I don't know. We'll see about getting into the show, the live action show. I like Joe, the guy who's the guy who's leading the show. So well,
and Renee says it gets better. It gets great around 10, and CD said it's short, but reminded him sort of like Firefly. And I've heard that comparison a lot. Is that it's very Firefly-esque. Now, granted, it was out before Firefly, but still, at least I think it was. But I've heard that comparison a lot. Is that it's very much like Firefly.
All right.
So,
I just have to check that out. I have to check it out then. I don't know.
Yep. The only other thing that I have on my list for this week is, well, other than What If, is that Venom 2 opens this week.
Yes.
In theaters. And I enjoyed Venom more than I thought I was going to.
As did I.
And, well, I understand what they're doing and why they're doing it, but I think that it's way too fucking early for them to bring Carnage in any sense.
I agree. I would have done it much later.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, bringing in the Apocalypse in the 6th season and then getting nine more seasons. What the fuck do you do after the Apocalypse?
Right, exactly.
I mean,
thanks. Supernatural taught us what you do, apparently.
Well, that's the thing. They brought in the Apocalypse after season 6, and then they went, "Hey, guess what? You're getting another season. Oh, and you're getting another one, and you're getting another one, and another one."
And they had several apocalypses after.
Yeah,
that too.
They did. But yeah, that's the thing. I'm actually watching Supernatural right now, and I'm in season 4. And they're gearing up for an apocalypse there. And I was talking to my buddies who have watched all of them. They're like, "Oh yeah, there's like 6, 7 apocalypses that they have to thwart." So, but yeah. So Venom, though, I mean, they make it like a buddy cop movie. It's really what it is. And I like that Eddie Brock wears a Lions jacket. I think that's kind of cool.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool.
And I like the interaction, like, in his head when Venom's talking to him.
Yeah.
And he says things out loud. "No, you can't eat Mrs. Chen." Right. And she just looks at him like, "What?"
What'd you say? Nothing. I do like the interaction between Venom between Eddie and the Venom symbiote. I think it's really cool. I was like you were saying, I was very surprised that I liked it as much as I did. And it was because I've never been a huge Venom fan, but it's a superhero movie or a comic book based movie. I'll probably see it.
Yeah, see, I liked Venom, but I didn't see him as the way they were doing it. I didn't care for that. I don't see how you can do Venom without Spider-Man.
Right. Yeah, that's the other problem.
That's my issue with it, is that I don't see how you can do Venom without doing Spider-Man. And to do that, you really have to do Secret Wars too. And I don't get how they could do that. Now, granted, they're saying they're gearing up for Secret Wars in the MCU. That's the big rumor, is that that's going to be the next big thing. Is it's going to be that's what phase 4 and 5 is going to lead to, is Secret Wars.
Right. Well, we'll see. I think man, I don't know. We could go in a lot of different directions with the way Marvel is doing things.
Mm-hmm.
I did have a tough time how they established Venom without Spider-Man. I feel like Spider-Man and Venom are supposed to be extremely intertwined. They should always be intertwined, and having them one without the other is really weird to me.
And that's the thing. The reason that Venom looks the way he does is because of Spider-Man. He took on that appearance for Spider-Man.
Right.
Other than that, why the fuck would he have a big white spider on his chest if it wasn't having anything to do with Spider-Man? And I know in this he really doesn't. I don't think he's just black.
Not really, if I remember correctly. But
it's been a while since I've seen it.
Right. But even so, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's intrinsic. I mean, he had the Venom symbiote looks the way it did because that was the design of the costume that Spider-Man had in his head when he got it out of he got the symbiote originally out of this machine, and then they later on developed it and changed it to that. It wasn't just this synthetic symbiote. It's actually a race of symbiotic beings called I think they're the Clintar or something like that. They've been to their home world, and Venom was a part of the Guardians of the Galaxy for a while, and they went into his home planet, to the home planet of the symbiotes, and they're very dangerous, and apparently they have been like kind of captured and poached and used as biological weapons over the years. I mean, they've actually developed the character of Venom, at least particularly the symbiote, quite a bit over the years. And
What? And
they
honestly,
just did a huge storyline last year called The King in Black, and it was about the god of the symbiotes coming to Earth and waging war upon on planet Earth. So that was fairly cool. I didn't get into it that particularly myself because, like, once again, not a huge fan of Venom, but it was still fair. It was still pretty cool and it was well received.
well, and one of the creators was Todd McFarlane.
Yes, one of the creators. Yes, Todd McFarlane did the initial designs. And
Which-
interestingly enough, when Venom first appeared, he had a big smile, but it wasn't all sharp teeth. It was actually like just
It's just a
lots and lots and lots of like normal human teeth.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a huge smile that went like way bigger than it should have been. And then the later artists established like the big sharp toothy maw. All in all, I'm excited. I am going to see it.
Yeah, I'll see it. I don't know if I'll see it at the theater, but I'll see it.
I may not go to the theater to see it, but I will definitely see it. I'll probably buy it to add to the collection because it is, once again, like I said, it is a movie based on a comic book property.
Yep. And I still need to get out to see Shang-Chi because I really want to see that.
Too. We have to go and see Shang-Chi. I have to go and see that as sooner rather than later. I'd really like to see that in the theater. And
Yep.
It's driving me crazy that I haven't yet. I've been terrible. I'm a terrible fan. And yuck. Yeah, it's like I'm being bad. I'm being a bad comic book movie fan. It's just been really busy. And then like some of the weekends I've been at the festival and then I get home and I'm like, oh, I don't.
I've just had so much going on the weekends that it seems like I don't ever have a weekend off. This weekend, I actually don't have a lot going on. I've got the game, but I might be able to get out to see it this weekend. CD said, non-comic people don't know Venom without Spidey.
Right. Exactly. So.
And he said, Clintar, I like that.
It's actually spelled with a K. Like Klyntar, Clintar. So for us non-comic book readers, I'm just known as Spidey Villain. That's in the room. Carnage. Yeah. So Carnage is essentially the offspring of Venom. He was a apparently the Clintar they drop they just eventually drop offspring. They reproduce asexually, and the Venom symbiote just did it and didn't even think to tell Eddie. And the symbiote ended up falling. That particular symbiote bonded to a serial killer named Cletus Cassidy.
Yep.
And became Carnage. And it was really fucked up. I mean, very fucked up.
Made Venom look like a pussycat.
Yeah, because this was that time when characters like Venom, when Carnage was created, characters like Venom were becoming more popular because you had these, you needed to have these more darker, aggressive versions of the characters of the superheroes. Instead of, for Captain America, you had the U.S. Agent Force. For Iron Man, you had War Machine. For Thor, you had Thunderstrike. And for Spider-Man was pretty much Venom, because Venom had become more of an anti-hero at that point. He was still dangerous and he was still like not to be trusted, I guess, by Spider-Man. But they teamed up to take down the more dangerous adversary, which was Carnage.
And the thing is, Venom is an example of a villain that became a hero because he was popular. So the writers changed how they wrote him. There's other characters that have changed, like Magneto, who changed over time.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, Harley Quinn. But there are characters that have changed due to the stories that they told about them.
Correct. Magneto's one of the best examples of that he eventually leaned more into the heroic side because of the stories they've written for him. He became less of that cackling villain I'm going to take over the world, and became more of a sympathetic character.
But they wrote it in that you saw the progression over years.
Right. Exactly. Same thing with Doctor Doom. They've been doing that with Doctor Doom over the years too, and he has become much more of a he's not a good guy. He's still not, and honestly, Magneto is still kind of a arrogant prick, but at the very least, the X-Men don't consider him a villain or an enemy anymore. He is an ally. And Doctor Doom is still kind of considered a villain, but at the very least, they've done some stuff with him over the last few years where he is less of a villain and more of a he's not quite an anti-hero yet either. He's not quite the villain he used to be. They've established. I mean, for a while, he more or less took over for Iron Man, and he was the not the invincible, but the impervious or something like that. Tony Stark was thought dead for a while, and Victor Von Doom took over for him.
And I've seen things where they say, like, Venom is that anti-hero, or that villain turned hero because of the way that the writers changed the story on him. Magneto is the villain turned hero because as you over the years you've come to realize he's not wrong.
Right. Exactly. You come to understand that he is a lot more, like I said, he's a much more sympathetic character, and that's what people love about it.
So you had a couple things.
Oh yeah. A couple of different things here. Check that out. One thing I was talking about, I've been playing Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous. Still a fantastic game, really, really fun. But I did encounter a game-breaking bug after one of the each big chapter of the game essentially unlocks more aspects of the game. Like you get through one section and you free the city that you're in from demonic control. And then it opens up the crusade part where you are controlling these armies, and then you have to then free this other city under demonic control. Once you do that, then it opens the management of the kingdom section that was similar to Kingmaker. A little more simplified though, which is good. And but apparently, if you're not careful and if certain things happen after you free that city, you might not be able to rest anymore. There is a bug that basically makes it so that it won't allow your characters to rest, which means you can't get your spells back, you can't heal completely, you eventually become exhausted and you die. So, and unfortunately, I hadn't saved. I mean, it had been a while since I had saved, so and I hadn't saved before. I had already done a lot of the auto saves, and I'd saved it, whatever. And I was just like, well, fuck, I guess this is time to start the game over now. Shit. So I did. I started a new playthrough. So I'm kind of considering that first one just more of a
trial run.
This was a trial run, and so now I can kind of figure some things out and do things a little differently. And it's still a great game. Hopefully, I heard that they had fixed that bug, but apparently it still crops up, because I looked it up. I did a Google search on that. People are like, yep, this is still a thing. I'm like, oh, balls. So some people were like, yeah, I reloaded and it was fine, but I tried reloading a few times and it was still doing that. So thank you. So anyway, I had to restart it. It's still, once again, I highly recommend the game. It's really fucking fantastic. But bear that in mind if you're playing the game. Also, the new game from Amazon, I guess one of their first big games that Amazon has developed, opened today, and that is called what is it, Another World?
New World.
New World.
I've been playing the beta.
You've been playing the beta. How do you? It is an MMO, correct?
Yep. Yeah, it is.
New World, yes. How do you feel about it so far?
It's interesting. It's one where you actually have to click every time you want to attack, so that you forget sometimes. And sorry, Renee. but you have to click every time. So like, yeah, the left mouse button is your main attack, and I don't remember I think the right is something else. I think it's block. And you actually have to do that back and forth. Overall, the gameplay wasn't bad. It wasn't overly difficult. The crafting seems to have a lot to it.
Okay.
I didn't really get into crafting a whole lot because I just wanted to play, and crafting always takes time away from me going out adventuring and leveling. So
Sure.
it's one of those things. I've never been a crafter. I know a lot of people, like there's one guy I work with, that's his main thing is he loves to craft. And so he'll spend hours just crafting things in various games that he plays. But that's not me. I like to go out and fight stuff, and that's what I'm there to play and adventure and explore and things like that. So overall, visually, it's absolutely stunning. It is an absolutely beautiful game. It's basically you get stranded on this island, and it's all mystical and stuff like that, and it's kind of pirate-esque.
It seems to me it looks very much like the game. What was it? Greedfall. It looks a lot like the images I've seen. The images I've seen from this game, New World, looks a lot similar to the game Greedfall, which was.
I don't know that one.
Greedfall was basically a very Renaissance era as opposed to medieval era.
A lot of the design in this looks very Spanish, like the helmets
Sure.
and things like that, and the armor looks very Spanish.
Yeah.
But the characters don't.
Okay.
But yeah, overall, it's an interesting game. I bought it in the beta, and because I figured, what the hell, I'll give it a shot.
Mhm.
And I haven't actually played it in probably a month. So it's one of those, I've got too many things to play, so I actually haven't played any of my MMOs in a long time. I haven't played Star Wars, I haven't played, not playing WoW anymore, and I haven't played New World.
Well, I'm looking at a few of the reviews here on Steam, and apparently it looks like they're having a tough time. Holy shit. Position in queue, 12,532. Average wait, 101 hours, 52 minutes, 18 seconds.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so there's apparently this is hard cap servers at 2K players, total of 183 servers in the world. At the time of writing this, there is 634,000 players on Steam. Amazon would need 300 plus servers to support the current queued player base. Over half the people who purchased this game, Amazon doesn't even have the capacity to let into the game. The biggest scam in video game history. I'm generally convinced this queue times are a way to stretch my playtime to 2 hours so that I can't refund it later. I preloaded my divorce papers too. So there are some positive reviews for sure. About half of them are positive, half of them are negative. They have to rename this game to Q World. Amazon shows great business tactics. You buy the game, wait 4 hours in line to log into the game, and then have to find out that you don't like the game, but you can't get a refund. That's how Jeff Bezos makes money. And how the more positive things in the game, if you have a strong enough PC to set the graphic details to the max, then the game is beautiful. I personally love crafting. There are a lot of it. I recommend that before finding out the character, find out where the most people from your nationality play. If you plan to play in a party and fight with other factions for territory. I will definitely adjust the review in time, but now I would give the game 3 out of 5 stars. So, I mean, there's almost 18,000 reviews here. I'm not going to go through all of them. But apparently they are having queue issues. But it's opening day.
Yeah, every game that has ever been released, any MMO has queues on their first week.
Right. Exactly. Here's one. Do you like queues? Do you like the same tired old mechanics? Do you like guild limits that are too small? Do you like no mounts? Do you like time portal to fast travel options? Do you like grinding? Then join New World today. Imagine the year is 21. It's a dystopian hellscape of craziest global pig, and you have to wait in a 6,000 person line to escape for a little while. That is what the queue is like. Imagine an MMO. Then imagine Dark Souls, and the MMO had a baby. Then imagine that the baby was mutated with lag. That is what combat is like. The guilds are capped at 100 people. Remember big guilds? Well, go play something else if you want a big guild. There are no mounts. Get to walking, mendicant. Oh, and there are no fast travel powers. You also move at the same speed no matter if you wear light, medium, or heavy armors. Fast travel is partially time locked and partially grind locked, so get to waiting or grinding, peasant. Grind harder. Nerfs will continue until grinding improves. Stop reading this and grind. Sure, it's new. Sure, it's shiny. but I've advanced 300 places in a 6,000 person queue writing this. So then people are, great game. Don't let me or others decide if this game is good or not. Try it yourself first. I would say that probably the best bet is give it a few days, give it maybe a week or 2 weeks to for them to kind of work a few bugs out, because
People get frustrated and not play it.
It is always difficult at first, the first day or two of a new game. And of course, there's thousands of people in line. They've all been waiting to play this game.
Yep.
So I would just wait. Just wait, you know. So yeah, I will be checking that game out, I'm sure, eventually, but I'm going to wait a little bit before.
TD says he'll play MMOs when he retires.
He'll play MMOs what?
When he retires.
Ah, okay. I don't blame you, man. They are a lot of work. So I do like the game. Does look interesting. I was gonna buy it, but I think I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna give it a couple of weeks and just kind of give it some time.
I got to get back to the Old Republic because the new expansion comes out in November to mark their 10th anniversary.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that.
I'm already playing a shit ton of games right now. I can wait before I open up, this very first Amazon game.
Dude, once I can get a PS5 and possibly a Xbox Series X, once Far Cry 6 comes out and Horizon Forbidden West come out, that's going to be my free time. That's the both of those games are going to eat up my free time.
For sure. I have actually been playing so much on my computer lately. I have barely touched my PlayStation gaming situation.
Well, that's the thing. I'm actually considering Far Cry for my computer instead of the Xbox. I may not get an Xbox. I may not get the new Xbox, at least not for a while.
I wouldn't, man. I like I said, get the PlayStation, man. It is
if I can get one.
The PS5. Yeah, I know. We are approaching
the chip shortage is.
It's ridiculous. We are approaching a year.
Yep.
On the PlayStation 5. Now, the PlayStation 5 is still selling extremely well, as gaming systems go. In fact, it's selling. I believe it's selling like just. It's one of the top selling PlayStations so far.
When you get it.
When you can get them, right. It's still selling very well. It's just they haven't been able to, get as many of the chips. They have actually apparently they made a change to the structure, like the interior structure of the PlayStation 5. It doesn't affect the game player at all. It's still really amazing. It just we're able to reconfigure it so that they were able to have an easier time getting parts. They also recently just did a big update to the PS5 that allows you now the software now allows you to accommodate a second hard drive.
Oh yeah.
And a second SSD hard drive in the PlayStation 5, and it even shows you how to install it yourself. So you can get you have to buy another solid state, and you can get whatever size you want. Unfortunately, solid state hard drives are of this type and size are not cheap. And if you can get a hold of one, and then it shows you how to install it, and it's essentially you unscrew a screw, take a thing off of like a cover off, and you just kind of plug it in, and then then you can define where you are able to install your games, because you got to remember PlayStation 5 games are installed on the hard drive of the PlayStation 5, and some of these games are pretty big and will eat up space pretty fast.
Yep.
Because the initial SSD hard drive on a PlayStation 5 is only a terabyte. When I say only a terabyte, it's still a lot of fucking space. But these games, I mean, if they're
massive.
If they install 100 gigabytes onto your hard drive, you got 10 games.
Yep.
And you still got to play the disc. I mean, God forbid.
That's why there's a shortage of triangles in the world.
Right. It's because of all the shortage of triangles, and that's because not including like Well, honestly, I mean, like if you get these games and you download them, I mean, then it's going to take up even more space.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just talking installation files if you're still playing them off a disc. It's insane. I mean, PlayStation 4 games, which it is backwards compatible for, can be installed into an external hard drive, which I have plugged into my PS5. But if you want to expand your hard drive on your PS5, it is a good idea. I may be doing that eventually. So we should probably move on. I got a couple more things that I want to talk about.
We're starting to run out of time.
We're getting close. Real quick, they did release the guest list for the Motor City Comic-Con coming up.
I heard one of them actually already canceled, though.
We've had a couple of cancellations already, but nothing major, really. We had the Motor City Comic-Con is going on October 15th through the 17th, coming up in a couple of weeks. And we have been sans the Motor City Comic-Con because of COVID, so this will be the return. And I'm actually pretty excited. I do love going to the Comic-Con. It's a love-hate kind of thing, you know. Being a big comic fan, a big media fan, but then there's a part of me that also is like, you should be one of these professionals here. I'm going to go through the guest list real quick. These are the celebrity guests. We got Adam Scher. He's a wrestler. I'm not really familiar with the guy. The dude is jacked. We got Alexander Ludwig, who was he's done a bunch of stuff, but he's probably been most famous for being on Vikings. He was on a character on Vikings. We have Anthony Starr, who plays Homelander on The Boys. He's going to be on there. Breckin Meyer, the actor Breckin Meyer, was supposed to be here, but he is canceled.
Yep.
We have Britt Baker, who is another wrestler. She is kind of a female wrestler.
One of the divas.
One of the divas. I'm not super up on all of the wrestling shit these days. I used to be, but I'm not right now. We have Catherine Tate, was known from being on The Office, and she was also.
I know her from Doctor Who. Yeah,
she's a Doctor Who character.
Donna.
Who was it?
Donna.
Oh, okay.
The really every woman
as well. She was also very funny. She has had. Several her own show on
Tennant's last companion.
Okay, yeah, she's really funny. We also have David Koechner. You've probably seen him in almost everything. He's been all kinds of comedic roles. He was in Anchorman. He was the sports guy on Anchorman, the cowboy hat. He was a regular on the Goldbergs. He's been in so many fucking things, it's ridiculous. So you may want to see David Koechner.
I think he's still a regular on the Goldbergs.
Yeah, he's still a regular. He's the neighbor. He's the dad's best friend.
Yeah, he was Laney's dad.
Laney's dad. Mm-hmm. You got David Yost, who played the original Blue Ranger. You know, Blue Power Ranger. Dennis Lawson, he canceled. I believe he was a Star Wars alumnus, correct? Yeah, Wedge Antilles is the guy who played Wedge. He canceled.
Yeah, that sucks.
One of the biggest stars, Elijah Wood, is going to be there. Frodo fucking Baggins. So that's kind of a big deal, man. Frodo Baggins. We got Gaten Matazzaro from Stranger Things. Also, Giancarlo Esposito, who's a big.
He's like the top of the list for ones I would like to meet.
Yeah, he's Moff Gideon. He was also Gus on Breaking Bad. This guy, he's he plays the villain in Far Cry 6 coming up this in 22.
He was on Revolution.
He's in Revolution. He was on Once Upon a Time. The guy's career is huge and has spanned.
He's on The Boys.
Decades. He is in he was on The Boys as well. He plays the big boss in The Boys. So the guy has got a lot of work. He's like incredible amounts of work. So that should be cool. Ice-T.
I want to ask him. I want to ask Giancarlo Esposito what it's like to wield the Darksaber.
Absolutely. Ice-T is going to be there. That's a pretty big fucking deal. I'm like excited I'd love to meet Ice-T, and he's bringing his lovely wife Coco with him. Those of you guys who've seen Coco, she is a pretty spectacular glamour model, and she is like that kind of curvy blonde, like almost like fantasy, so they're going to be together, and we even looked into it. If you want to get a picture with the two of them together, it's $130. I was like, That's kind of tempting. We also have James Jude Courtney, who has played Michael Myers. We have Jim Cummings, who is one of the biggest voiceover actors in the industry. He has done all kinds of characters. I believe he does a lot of the Winnie the Pooh characters. He plays Tigger and Winnie the Pooh. He's done a lot of Disney work. I mean, just everything. If you look him up, or you click on the thing on the webpage for the Comic-Con, he has just been in so many things. We also have Jodie Benson, who is the voice of Ariel from The Little Mermaid, among many other things too. That's probably one of her most famous roles. We have Joey Fatone, which cracks me the fuck up, from the boy band NSYNC. So Joey Fatone is going to be there. He's done a bunch of stuff. John Barrowman,
who is amazing.
Captain Jack Harkness and Malcolm Merlin from both
from the Arrowverse,
from the Arrowverse, and from Torchlight and Doctor Who, the Whoverse.
Yep.
He's going to be there. He's a fantastic guest and really, really cool. Justin Briner, another voiceover guy. Lucy Christian, another voiceover. We have Mario Lopez, famous from Saved by the Bell and many other things. We have,
was it Entertainment Weekly or
Entertainment Tonight and stuff like that. He's done a whole bunch of stuff. After he got done being in, he did less acting and got into a lot of like kind of reporting and entertainment reporting. Now he's back on the remake or the continuation of Saved by the Bell. We have Maurice LaMarche. He is actually one of the granddaddies of voiceover acting. He's been he's done just hundreds and hundreds of characters and voices and cartoons. He's probably one of the more famous things. He is the Brain from Pinky and the Brain. We have Meatloaf. No shit, Meatloaf. Also, Michael Rosenbaum from Smallville and a bunch of other things. He played Lex Luthor. He's actually has one of the most he's an extremely successful podcast called Inside of You, entertainment podcast where he interviews people. He also pushes very much. They talk about and deal with mental health on Inside of You. I've been listening to it. It's a great podcast. He interviews a lot of really kind of good celebrities right around he gets some bigger ones in there, but then he gets a lot of like kind of television, CW, kind of like well-known people, but also like, I won't say A-list, but he's got some A-listers, but he's got a lot of B-listers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty cool though, because like he had the guys from Supernatural and he had a lot of the he had Zach Levi on, so it was really cool. And he has had it's a really great podcast. If you guys want to hear a good interview podcast. We also have Mike Coulter, who played Luke Cage on the Luke Cage TV show. That's pretty awesome. Ming-Na Wen, who was on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She was Melinda May.
And Mandalorian.
And The Mandalorian. She's been in The Mandalorian. She's actually had a really strong career. She was actually the voice of Mulan in the original Mulan movie. So she's going to be there. Nolan North, who is a very well-known voiceover actor and for video games more so. We also have Patrick Renna. For those of you guys who don't know who Patrick Renna is, you might remember one of his most famous lines, "You're killing me, Smalls!" He is the redheaded kid from the movie Sandlot. He had a very strong career in his when he was a kid and teenager. So he's going to be there. We have Ross Marquand, who is an actor and stuff. He's probably more so known. He actually took over the role of the Red Skull in the final in the Avengers not Infinity Gauntlet. This is the next Endgame.
Endgame.
So when they had to retrieve the Soul Stone and the Red Skull was there, and Hugo Weaving didn't want to reprise his role. Last but surely not least, we have Tom Welling, who played Clark Kent in Smallville. So there's a lot of really great media guests. I'm not going to go to the comic book guests. Maybe next week we'll do that. There's not near as many comic book guests that are kind of bigger named, but still they have some pretty good ones. So maybe we'll deal with those next week.
Yeah. Real quick, a couple other things that I just remembered. Talking, some of that stuff reminded me. Like one of the things is big Doctor Who news. Russell T Davies is coming back to be the showrunner for Doctor Who.
Oh, that's cool.
He is the original showrunner with the new series. So he did the Eccleston and Tennant years, which I think is the best of the Doctor Who's. And so I'm really excited to see him come back and take over. with starting I think next year. And the other one is J. Michael Straczynski is rebooting Bab 5.
Yeah.
So Babylon 5 is being, from what I've read, this is a ground up reboot. And it's going to be, they're developing it for CW.
No, maybe they'll do it right this time. Because, I mean, I did like aspects of that show, but that show never got its due because it was, at the time, it was in syndication.
Yep.
So it moved all over the place. Then you never knew when you could see it. Sometimes it was on Friday night at midnight, and sometimes it was on Sunday morning at 10.
Yep.
You just never knew when you could catch it. So that was one of the things that really hurt that show.
Yep.
So.
And so I'm hoping that they get to do his actual vision, because that was part of the problem, was that he had a 5-year vision for that show.
Right.
And he didn't really get to.
It's a Bible.
Yeah. So I'd like to see him do that again. I think the 3rd season was the absolute best. That was my favorite season out of all of them. And I still haven't gotten through season 5 because I hate the new captain. But I'm interested in seeing this. I like that it's Straczynski that's doing it again.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as it's him doing it, I'll check it out.
Okay. It's I mean, you get the original creator involved. I'm usually in, at least to some extent, because particularly if they were good about it. I mean, look at sometimes things don't always go well. I mean, look at George Lucas and look at Gene Roddenberry. I mean, they were the original creators of their their franchises, but maybe not always the best people to continue, continuing it.
George is a great idea, man. His universe is amazing. The universe and the mythology that he created there, and the legends and all that universe he created, I think is fantastic.
Yes.
He can't write dialogue to save his fucking life. And his story concepts, well, I think they were good in the first one, in the first series of movies. He tried making it too real in the later ones. I didn't like what he did in episode 1, but I really hate that he brought in the midichlorians thing. And I'm like, George, you don't need to explain this. It doesn't have to be science. This is science fantasy. This is not science fiction. It doesn't have to be hard science.
Right.
It can just be space magic.
Right.
We're okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the same thing too with if you really look up like what Roddenberry was doing at the beginning of Next Generation, he just had some very outmoded kind of concepts. He was getting old, and his health was failing, and the first couple of seasons of Star Trek: The Next Generation were kind of rough because he was still trying to kind of exert a lot of control over it. I mean, once I hate to say it, but once Roddenberry died, Gene Roddenberry died, or at the very least, once he kind of stepped back, because I don't think he died right away.
No.
Once he stepped back from his level of creator control and let some other people take the reins, the show improved immensely.
He did die in 91, so I mean, it was the fourth year in.
Yeah,
for Next Gen.
4th or 5th, something like, because it started in 86, I think.
87.
86 or 87.
It was 87.
So yeah. So once he kind of like went, all right, you guys can take. I'm not doing well, and the show took off a lot better. They say season 4 was where the show really. So I think season 3 is where it started to really pick up steam.
Yeah. 1 and 2 were kind of rough.
1 and 2 were rough.
But if you look at most of the Star Trek series, the first 2 seasons are rough for all of them. Deep Space Nine, it was. Voyager struggled the first couple of years.
Absolutely.
Enterprise never made it past its 2nd year.
Which one?
Enterprise.
Enterprise went 4 seasons.
Did it go 4 seasons? I thought it was only 2.
No, 4 seasons.
I knew it didn't make it to 7. That had become like the norm.
Yeah, it went 4 seasons, which 7 is the ideal and the norm. Pretty much all of the rest of them went at least 7 seasons. So, and that's kind of that's the preferred kind of thing there. It's like if you can go 7 seasons, that's what you want,
So
we should move on to the last couple things. Why don't we got to get into what if? Let's do what if, and then we'll have to close it off.
Save the mutant talk for next week.
Yeah, we'll save. I got a couple other things here. We'll save it for next time.
All right. So this week it's what if Thor were an only child?
Yeah, that was. This was. A lot of the what if episodes have been very dark and kind of a little more negative and stuff. This one was a lot lighter and it was a lot of fun. I actually really enjoyed this.
I really enjoyed this one. And there were some aspects I really enjoyed. But yeah, so basically we see what would have happened if instead of raising Loki, if Odin had given him back to the
Jotunheim.
The Jotunheim. Yeah, the giants.
The Jotuns.
Yeah, the Jotuns. The Locuson. Or no,
gave him back to Lo-Fi.
Lo-Fi. Lo-Fi, yeah. I couldn't think of his name. And so that was the whole thing. So he gave him back. So Thor was actually raised as an only child, and he was a spoiled fucking brat.
Yep. Well, the idea is that, when you have a sibling, it changes you. It changes like how you look at life and how you look at things, and it kind of can make you look at things, like I said, look at things a little differently. And Thor was definitely, he was all about partying. He was kind of an idiot. He
didn't really care about anything.
Didn't care about a whole lot. And the funny thing about this for me, Thor should not have been able to lift that hammer.
No, because he wasn't worthy.
He wasn't worthy, man. He was such a kid. He was such a little spoiled brat. No, he was still a nice guy. But he wasn't like a bad guy.
But the thing is that he's a lot like he is at the beginning of the original Thor movie. He's that arrogant ass. But the thing is that the way they explain it is that whole thing with the being able to lift Mjolnir doesn't happen until Thor's stripped of his power. And Odin whispers it and says, whoever can lift this hammer, be they worthy, shall have the power of Thor. And he chucks it.
Okay.
So I think that is the MCU's version where that wasn't the case until Odin did that.
You know what? I didn't think about it that way, but yep, you're absolutely right. In the original comic book, Thor had to earn the right to Mjolnir years before. I mean, it was always about being worthy enough to lift it. So he worked very hard to become worthy, to figure out, and it came out to the idea that he didn't realize that, to be worthy, you kind of got to not want it so much. You got to be. It's not about how the things that you do. It's a person you are. You know, and it took him a long time to figure that out. But in the MCU, you're right. He wielded Mjolnir with impunity. Thank you, impunity. And he just, he just kind of, it was a weapon to him. It wasn't a big deal. And in the what if story here, we never saw Odin put that caveat on the worthiness of the hammer. So
now we do get the fact that he's the only one that can lift it.
Yes.
Later on.
Yeah. We did get that. So, see that kind of shoots that theory. It doesn't shoot it. It just means he's the only one that can lift it. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with worthiness. Maybe. But it was, I still got a big kick out of it. It was a lot of fun. It was fun seeing Captain Marvel show up.
Well, and that's the whole thing. So he comes to Earth because Odin goes into the Odin sleep.
Right. And then Mom goes
Mom takes off to go party with her sisters.
Right.
And leaves Thor and leaves Thor in charge.
Right. And he's just going to take the Warriors 3 and his other cronies and just fucking do it up. Gonna have.
He heard about this world in Midgard.
Yeah, this world that It's this little mud ball that Heimdall's probably not even watching, and yeah, so we're gonna go there, and he lands in Vegas.
Well, that's the thing.
And
They show Jane and Darcy,
yeah,
minus what's his name?
Solveig. Mm-hmm. But she references him later.
Yeah, she calls him, but yeah, he's not with them, and they're out there watching for this anomaly again. And Darcy again is the first one to spot it, just like she was in the first movie.
Right.
And they watch it fly overhead and head towards Vegas, and they follow it. And by the time they get there, it's just a giant party in Vegas. Because where are the Asgardians going to wind up that want a party? In the biggest party city in the U.S.
Right. Well, I mean, it's arguable, but I'd say it is probably one of the, if not, I mean, I'd say, New York is also be a city.
New York's not known for the party scene like Vegas is, though.
Well, they don't have the casinos. They don't have
right. Vegas is just a giant party.
Yeah. So anyway, they do, they show up and because Jane's like, I think we're being invaded by aliens, and then she shows up and
she's trying to call S.H.I.E.L.D. and
trying to call everybody, and she can't get a hold of everybody. Nobody believes her. And she and Darcy drive to Vegas and to try and talk to these aliens, and they see this massive party. And Thor is, still a super handsome guy, and he's having a great time.
And she's trying to figure out. She's like, I can find out which one's the leader, because they'd be the first one here, and they have the oldest signature or whatever. And she's like, there he is, and she pulls it down, and you just see this, like the hair blowing in the wind, and
Angel Man.
Yes.
So they have a great time. It was funny because they have a really funny kind of interaction. There's a lot of funny interactions. I mean, he comes to really become attracted to her, and Jane, you're so beautiful, and everything. And it's funny because they did get Chris Hemsworth back. They got as many
Natalie Portman
back as they could. Natalie Portman and it was also
Kat Dennings.
I mean, you could tell it was her. We had
Jeff Goldblum was what's his name?
Was the Grandmaster. You had a lot of them came back. I mean, you had Howard the Duck was kind of a prominent character, and that's Seth Green.
Yep.
So that was pretty great too. But so she's trying to convince him. It's like, look, you can't just have this big fucking party here. You gotta, like, this isn't cool. And she's trying to find out because she discovered like a Howard's a playa. He is trying to have she discovered this celestial body that was essentially destroyed, and she thought, hey, was that you guys? And they're like, well, kinda, but not really. It was already kind of on fire. We just kind of helped it along. But
nobody got hurt.
Nobody got hurt. Yeah.
Everybody
that's
got
the
off.
thing. You're still like, Thor is still just kind of a fun guy. He's not a mean guy or anything. He's just kind of a spoiled prince, So they go and now S.H.I.E.L.D. shows up. It's the next day, and S.H.I.E.L.D. shows up at her hotel door.
Yeah.
It's Maria Hill. And she's like,
she's just in a t-shirt.
Yeah. And she's like, it's Maria Hill. And she's, I'm the acting, director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Do you want to know why I'm the acting director of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Because apparently Nick Fury got
and we got Samuel L. Jackson.
Sam Jackson. He got beat the fuck up at the party. So just trying to like be the party pooper, apparently, because that was the thing.
Party pooper.
So then they're like, okay, we have to bring in the they not quite the nuclear option, but they have to bring in the ultimate option.
Yeah.
And they pull out the beeper, the cosmic beeper, and they call in Captain Marvel. And I doubt that was Brie.
It was not Brie Larson.
Yeah, it wasn't Brie Larson.
She has not come back to do these.
Yeah.
She's one of the only ones that still under contract with Disney / Marvel that hasn't been back to do the voices.
Okay. So she shows up in all of her glory and basically comes in to bounce the party. She's the cop that shows up to kind of close up the party, and they're like, come on, you're being a party pooper, come on. And so she and Thor get into a knockdown drag out, and
around the world.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, she's like punching him across the country to another country and all these other things. And at one point,
he punches her to another continent
with the hammer and shit. she's like, ow, and just they can't really do a whole lot of damage to each other without like really doing a lot of damage to the planet. And she even says, if I really open up, I'm gonna punch out, I'm gonna wreck everything for 500 miles, in any direction. So then they're even like, well, you could maybe, we don't really need South Dakota,
Yeah.
nobody would notice that, take them to Siberia and whatever.
But at one point, Thor actually knocks her down and then just drops the hammer on her chest.
Yeah, and then she can't get up. And that was one of the things where you're like, see, she can't get up. And I said, I don't know what that is. But anyway, they finally, they're ready to call in, she's ready to actually pull out all the stops, and they're ready to
nuke him.
To nuke him and all this other shit. And then Darcy has this idea.
Well,
and it gives Jane this idea to basically call his mother.
But before that, one of I think one of the best things about this show is we see Loki show up.
Oh yes, that's right. Loki does show up, and at first
he's a frost giant. He's got this ice crown with the horns, and
he's a prince.
And he comes storming in like with a bunch of other frost giants, and they come in. And
where's that son of a witch, Thor?
Yeah,
and Thor is like, "What did you say?" And they just stare down, and they're like,
and he holds out his little pinky, and Thor shakes it. Because he's huge.
Bro, I'm glad you made it. So
my brother from another mother.
Yeah, Thor is essentially like a dude bro. He's like the ultimate dude bro in this episode. And him
and Loki are really good friends.
Yeah, they were friends, and then you see them basically like traveling around the world, moving the party around. They leave Vegas, they go to France, and then they go somewhere else. They go somewhere else.
Here's the other thing, though. What we see here is we see Loki, if he had grown up as the Prince of Jotunheim.
Yeah, probably a little more better adjusted.
Much more well adjusted, happier.
Yeah,
and just overall, I think a better situation for him.
Odin
keeping him fucked him up.
Yeah, for sure. I will say he was still a bit of a stinker, but
but still,
he was because he's
a spoiled prince.
He's a spoiled prince. They're both spoiled princes, and eventually they're ready to like call down the nukes, and it was great. And Darcy and Jane are able to figure out a way to basically call Thor's mother, because Odin is still in the Odin sleep, and she made some sort of joke and was like, I wish we could just call his mom. So what do you do when a teenager is going to have a big party? You call their parents, and she's like, all right, Darcy, brilliant. So they're able to contact Freya, and
it's kind of way far-fetched.
Through Heimdall, they contact Freya, and Freya basically is like, she just like, hey, Thor, he needs your help or whatever.
So he's what?
He's doing what? And so she calls him, and he's like, "Mother, I am," and he's in the middle of a fight with Captain Marvel, and like I said, they're ready to nuke him, and they're like, "He's like, Mother, I'm in my room studying," and don't lie to your mother. And he said, "Oh no, you meant we're at Midgard, we're on Earth. That's where
we're studying. They have a lot of culture, and
it's a cultural exchange." And she says, "Oh, well, you'll have to show me a syllabus when I get there."
He's like, "Oh shit."
So then Thor, I love the fact that this was basically a party movie where the parents go away, and the teenager decides to throw a party, and now the parents are coming home early, and the teenager has to now scramble,
freaking out to clean up his mess.
Just clean up his mess. So he goes back to the party, goes, "Guys, the party's over, and you got to help me clean up." And they're all like, "Fuck that, man.
Fuck you, I'm
We're
leaving.
not gonna do that."
Even Loki's like, "Sorry, bro. You're my brother. You're my brother from another mother."
Another mother, right? And so then Thor just goes, "Oh, Odin, give me strength." And he goes flying up, and he gets everyone's attention through lightning and thunder. And it's like, "Guys, my mom's coming!" And they're all like, "Oh shit, Freya's coming? Fuck!" And then so they all like scatter and start cleaning up the mess that they made all over the fucking world. They put the St. Louis Arch back.
Because they were going to turn it into a giant slingshot.
Right. They cleaned up graffiti and all this other shit. And then Freya shows up, and Thor's having like basically a study session with a bunch of other. And I love the fact that there's so many cameos. you got the Guardians of the Galaxy in there. You got the Grandmaster, all these cosmic characters.
Well,
And
Jeff
all these
Goldblum redoing his voice for him too, I thought was great. He's
so
DJing the party,
right?
In his boom.
It's fucking great. I mean, there's like I said, the Guardians. You got some Skrulls.
Surtur.
You do me. Now you do me. Now you.
One Surtur hitting on the Statue of Liberty
Surtur,
and then like chops the arm off.
Melted the arm off. Yeah, I've got a crown too. It's just, oh my God, it's so funny. So yeah, it just looks as a fucking blast of an episode. And then so they clean up the place. And she shows up and they're just like, hey, and then even Captain Marvel is like, she's like the one that kind of like the older sister that would have busted you, but she decides not to,
Yep.
And she shows up with a like a thing with a
tablet.
Like a tablet essentially with a bunch of information on
Here's the stuff that you wanted, Thor. I've loaded up a whole bunch of cultural stuff and
podcasts and PBS stuff.
The PBS specials and
we'll call. You can call me next week and we'll discuss it.
Yeah.
And he's just like, thanks. And it was so cool. And then then he summons Mjolnir back, and Mjolnir shows up and it's covered in graffiti
and Mardi Gras beads and a bra.
Like, I can explain, And that's what I thought the episode's gonna end. But then you see, because at first he calls Jane and she's like, hey, then ask me on a date or whatever. So he shows up and he asks her out. And you're thinking, okay, maybe this experience has made him grow a little bit. Mm-hmm. He's a little more responsible, and I thought it was just super cute.
And the whole thing between Darcy and Howard through the whole episode too was just Howard wooing her, and then they get married. They get married in Vegas, and
look who's back, Mrs. the Duck. Not now, Howard. So funny. And of course, then the episode ends with like what looks like to be like kind of a trailer or like a tease leading into possibly the season finale.
Yeah, with a portal opening.
A portal opening where you see Ultron come out.
Well, a bunch of Ultron bots.
Ultron minions or his drones.
Yeah.
And you see Ultron come out, and he's obviously got the Infinity Stones
in his chest.
On him, yes. Yeah. And it opens up, and there's the Soul Gem right there too. And
Mind Gem.
It's almost the Mind Gem. It's almost like
and it's Vision's face.
Yeah, it's almost like a combination
Vision.
of Vision and Ultron, and
it's kind of like Vision in Ultron armor.
Right. Yeah, and kind of like what it looked like what Ultron was originally intending, was because he was intending to be put into Vision's body.
Well, yeah, even in the comics,
interrupted it.
Even in the comics, Vision came from the Ultron project.
Yeah, though the Vision was designed and created by Ultron.
Yeah,
and but so anyway, and then the episode ends, and it was even like the Watcher was like, wait a minute, what's this? Because he was even commenting like, well, perhaps all's well that ends well, and you're like, and then you see, I was like, wait, what's this? And you see that portal opening. So obviously maybe some interdimensional portal or something like that. And so I'm really excited. I think this is going to be pretty cool. They have been leading up to the final episode of the season, probably featuring several different characters from.
Yeah, they're saying we're going to see pretty much almost everybody from this season in the final episode.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. So all in all, man, great episode.
It's basically going to be one of those where the Watcher's going to break his vow to bring everyone together, is to basically save the multiverse. I think
that could be cool. I'm loving it. I think What If is just genius and so much fun and beautifully well done. Just the animation is really fantastic.
The animation's been fantastic. I think the voice acting's been really good. The stories have been good for the most part. Some of them have been kind of but overall,
some have been better than others, but they're all pretty solid.
Yes.
Even if you don't like them completely, they were all pretty solid. Pretty solid storytelling. Even I mean, the previous one with Killmonger saving Tony, it was a pretty solid story.
Yep.
There were parts of it I didn't like, but overall it wasn't bad. CD, you don't like the animation as much, huh? I think it's gorgeous. I mean, it's that kind of blending, that beautiful blending of computer and hand drawn animation together.
Yeah.
Kind of like this cell drawn animation. But we should probably wrap things up.
Yep, we should.
It's getting late, and I still got to have dinner, and I am no good when I am hangry.
Yeah. So
guys, thanks for joining us tonight on our 245th episode, and we're right around the corner. It's 250. Maybe we'll have to have some guests on for 250 or something like that. That'd be really great.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are going to be talking to some more people. I want to have Jen and Kevin on soon. I want to have, I don't know, I wanted to have the mermaids on, but it's looking like we may have to wait until they go back to Florida, have them on later. And you know, we've got a lot of stuff coming, guys. It's a matter of putting our ducks in a row and getting things squared away.
Yep. It ain't easy getting this all put together on a regular basis.
It's not, particularly when you got a full-time job.
Yep.
You know, so, and you're, you know, working 45, 50 hours a week right now. And yeah. So anyway, yeah.
So
on that note,
well, you're gonna.
Oh, that's yeah.
I was waiting for you to do your thing.
All right, that's right. You guys, you can find us on all the places you can find quality podcasting. Ladies and gentlemen, we are, I always forget, we are on iTunes, the Google Play Store, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, the Odyssey app, and of course you can download and stream all of our shows at www.nerdswithalcoholshow.com. Guys, we are here every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock on Drinking Nerds here on Twitch, and Chris puts the episode up on Drinking Nerds on YouTube a couple of days later.
Thanks a lot for the cheer, CD. Appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, man.
And yeah, you can follow us on most of the social medias. We are on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show. We're on Twitter at Drinking Nerds, Instagram Drinking Nerds, and yeah, you can find us on Untapped, the beer drinking app. Just search for Drinking Nerds. Send us a friend request, and we will get you added. And remember, you can subscribe to us now. You get a free subscription if you're a Prime member. So, I mean, if you're not using it for anything else, throw it our way if you can, because that'll help us out a lot. So, we appreciate everyone. Thank you, CD, so much for all the support, the subscription, and the cheer tonight. That actually helps us out a lot. Thank
what
you.
Does that do?
The cheer actually gives us he gives us bits, and basically bits are worth money, so it's like a penny a bit type of thing. So so appreciate it. Every little bit helps. And yeah, we're hey, CD, you never have to apologize, man. Everything is awesome. We don't do this for the money. It honestly, the money will help. Because pretty much anything we get is going to wind up going back into the channel. So it'll help us get better equipment, better gear, things like that. Get us things we need or that we want to get for the D&D show, Tavern Nights, to try and make that better. Things like that. So we're not looking to make a fortune on this. So but
having it pay for itself would be nice.
Yeah, having it pay for itself would be awesome. Having a hobby that you can do for free would be awesome. I mean, we have been doing it for 5 years. We're obviously not in it for the money, because
that being said, it would be nice to be, you know, if this could become a decent sideline.
Yes.
You know, or at least make some.
That'd be cool.
So it would be pretty cool.
Yeah, you are just starting the ball rolling.
Yep.
So appreciate it. So yeah, thanks. I think on that note then.
On that note.
Until next time. Sláinte. That was a little quiet, but it wasn't bad.
Thanks for joining us tonight, guys. We'll see you next week.
Have a good week, everybody.